Hello everyone and welcome to my presentation on declined flag designs. This is going to be rather informal because it's just a behind the scenes going through my brainstorming process a little bit of how I came up with my channel flag. I think that maybe going through this review of sort of how I got to where I ended up might help someone who might be going through a design process of their own. Kind of curious how different people do it. So this is just how I did it in this particular instance. So before I go over the various designs that I rejected while making my YouTube channel flag, I want to go over the North American Vexillological Association's Principles for Good Flag Design, because these were the principles that I tried to follow while designing my YouTube channel flag. First is keep it simple. Don't make it too messy or complicated. Pick a design that is relatively easy to make, design, draw, reproduce freehand from memory if you need to. 2 is use meaningful symbolism. Any flag design can represent any place, but it resonates better, it'll often be respected more and valued higher if there's meaningful symbolism behind the flag design. 3, use 2 or 3 basic colors. This helps to keep it simple, and from a practical standpoint also helps in keeping costs down. It's easier to make a flag if you only need 2 or 3 colors worth of material. 4, no lettering or seals. Lettering gets iffy if you have to read it from the backside of the flag. Also, lettering is a problem if the flag is being observed by people who don't speak that language. Flags often are used in contexts where the people observing the flag are not necessarily speakers of that language, and yet they still have to interpret what that flag means. So lettering is frowned upon. When it comes to seals, it doesn't mean the animal seal. You could make a flag with an animal seal on it. That'd be just fine. But a governmental seal is designed very intricately and designed for being seen up close and to prevent forgeries. But a flag is designed for being able to be seen from far away or close up. And so because of the different purposes of a flag and a seal, it is a bad idea to put a seal on a flag. And the 5th principle is to be distinctive or be related. It's all about being intentional with your design. Like the Nordic cross flags in Scandinavia, those are all related in that they have the same shape, but they're also distinct from each other because they use different colors that will represent their various regions. So it's fine to look similar to other flag designs, but it's all about being intentional. Why does it look similar? And also, what about your flag is distinct from the others so that when people see the flag, they recognize, oh, that's from that place and not from a different place. So the very first flag concept I had was my shadow, because I thought, hey, what better way to have a symbol that represents my YouTube channel and would be distinct from other symbols than my shadow? There were some logistical problems, though, as I tried to go about this particular design. First, I took one of my shadow videos and took a frame from that and removed the background to try to make the shadow, and I quickly noticed that shadows aren't smooth. You can smooth it out a little bit, but my shadow, from the resource I took it from, it was not a smooth design. So that would make it a little bit trickier to reproduce the flag design. And I didn't like how it was looking. But I didn't give up just because I looked at the shadow and went, I don't know if it'll work. I still went through and made it the channel colors just to see how it would look. So I'll show you that. First, this one. First I made the shadow gray. I couldn't make it blue because of however I inputted the image into PowerPoint. It gave me only a limited selection of colors that I could use for the image. So I could make it gray, but I couldn't make it the blue I wanted. So I just made the shadow gray and then I made the background blue. This is how that looks. Again, I went through the process and I made the design, even though once I started implementing it, I figured out pretty quickly that it wouldn't be my end flag design, but I still wanted to see how it looked, so I went ahead and made it. The next idea I had was to use a present as the symbol on the flag. You know, present in English has a double meaning. It can either mean a gift, ein Geschenk auf Deutsch, or it can be in the moment. I am here. Yes, I am here. I'm present. So because of that imagery, I thought it would work really well for the channel flag. The problem comes in with me trying to make a present appear on a flag because, as you can see, I designed the wrapping on a box for a present, kind of how I pictured it with standard ribbon and bow, but I struggled with trying to make the bow, and this is just the design that had the best bow that I could do that actually kind of resembled a bow. The other attempts I did, whether it be freehand or trying to find some online clip art that would work, none of the designs really meshed well with my design for the box, so I quickly scrapped this idea. But I do think it's worth showing because it was one I considered. Also, I want to point out that in this attempt, the background is black, and black was the 3rd accent color that I considered for my channel flag. It was pretty clear from the beginning that it would be blue and gray, but having that 3rd option gave me a little bit more variety in some of these designs that you'll see later on. With my next idea, I thought, okay, if I can't do the bow on a present, what if we just zoomed in and just did the side of the box? Maybe it'd be a little abstract, but maybe that design would work. So, as you can see, I zoomed in on that side of the box. It's just the cross ribbon and the gray background. It's okay. This would work as a flag for something, but I didn't like it as a flag for my YouTube channel because it looks too much like the Finnish flag. Yes, I know it's gray instead of white and a different shade of blue when it's a regular symmetrical cross rather than a Nordic cross, but the design resembled the Finnish flag too much, and quite frankly, my YouTube channel doesn't have anything to do with Finland. Nothing against Finland, it just doesn't fit with my YouTube channel. So while it was good to test out this flag design, it just didn't work for me. So I went on to a different idea. And the different idea I had was, okay, let's go back to basics. What's some of the basic flag designs? Because I tried a little bit complicated with the shadow and the present, even the cross there. Let's go back to basic. What's a basic flag design? And it's the 3 stripes. I did 3 vertical stripes, having the gray on the blue. It looks fine. It could work, but I wanted to test out a bunch more designs because to me, this felt too simple. Like, I want to design a flag. I don't want to just copy other designs of flags that are out there. So if I can, let's keep trying. Let's keep going. So this one, I like this one, but it's not one that I wanted to have to use. So I did some other designs here with the 3 stripes, and I won't show you every single one that I did, but I'll show a couple of them. So here we have the alternate with the blue on the gray. And here we have the blue on the black, not even having the gray, just seeing how that would look. I think it looks pretty cool, but I don't think it is the best option for my channel flag, so I kept going. Then I tried the horizontal stripes, thinking maybe a horizontal design would work even better than a vertical design. And I do think it does a little bit, but it depends on which iteration I use. So here we have another horizontal with the blue on the gray, or the gray sandwiching the blue. Something I didn't think of till just now is that it kind of abstractly, with the stripes, with the top and bottom being different from the middle, it kind of looks like an Oreo, and that does have significance with my channel a little bit, because I've done some Oreo taste tests, but to me that's really abstract, and I didn't even think of that till just now, so clearly that wasn't the deciding factor on my flag design. Here's another one, dark on top, bottom, lighter in the middle. I do like how this looks, but I still didn't feel like this was a good channel flag. I felt like it could be better, so rather than just going with it, I kept trying some more designs. So now this design, I thought, hey, what if we did the colors in an arrangement that resembled maybe the German flag? Because that would be a really good reference for my channel, because it's got a German username, Jaichbinhier. All of the playlists and labelings of the channel are in German. That would be a really interesting, meaningful, symbolic correlation. So I went with this design and then realized this actually looks like Estonia's flag. This is the arrangement of the colors that looks like the German flag, but even arranging them like this, like, it's okay. It works, but I felt like it could be better. There could be something more personalized for my YouTube channel, so I wanted to keep trying different design ideas. What I did with this one was I took the 3-stripe idea and I thought, well, what happens if I put 2 stripes next to each other as the same color? And this is what I made. Gray stripe on top. This is technically 2 blue stripes on the bottom, but it looks like just a blue stripe on the bottom. But what I noticed was this kind of looks like a horizon line with sky and water, which gave me an idea for a flag concept that was totally different from what I'd been working with before. So even though this design itself, I look at it and it's like, it's empty. Why would I use this? Still going through the act of making it in the process of brainstorming really, because it led to an even better idea or a different idea or a unique idea, I don't look at this design as a failure. I look at this as, hey, this set me up for another cool design. I kind of like it. So I'm glad I went through with that step of actually testing this design out and seeing what happened. So this was one of the designs that sprung from that. And what this design is it's an iceberg. And I didn't go too in-depth with this. If I wanted to go a little bit deeper, I might have made the top of the iceberg above the horizon line a different shade or a different color than the bottom. But the reason for the iceberg symbol is the iceberg is a symbol of depth, in that you see a little bit above the water, but there's a whole lot more underneath. And with my YouTube channel, there's often a little bit you can see on the surface, but then if you dig a little deeper, you find there's a whole lot more depth to this channel than first meets the eye. I thought that would be a really unique and novel symbol concept for a flag. I ended up not going with this partially because the triangle is a little bit more difficult than a square or a stripe or some of the other shapes to manipulate and work with and tinker with. But I still like this idea of a design and this prototype of a design. So I'm not disappointed that I made it. I got done with it and I thought, it's okay, but I still think I can do even better. So this was not a better design, but this was still a design I tried. So there's a video on my channel that refers to pareidolia, which is a phenomenon where you see faces in places that really don't have faces. So this was my attempt to recreate the electrical outlet face from the video. As you can see, it's absolutely not what you want on a flag, because the expression that is given, it neither rallies people around it nor intimidates an enemy. It's like the worst face to put on a flag. So I went through the process of making it, and maybe in a way kind of sparked ideas for what ended up being the flag design layer. No, this design was definitely not one that I wanted to keep. One of the things in researching flag design prior to going through with this challenge, one of the interesting things I found out was that in Japan, some of the prefecture flags actually have Japanese letters in their flags, but rather than having it as writing, they just take a letter or two letters and they incorporate it into a design on the flag. So at this point in my flag design process, I was thinking, hey, maybe what I just need to do to keep it simple is take the J from the Jaichbinhier logo and put that on the flag. Let's see how that looks and see if that would maybe work. It might not look the same forward and backward, but maybe it'll be okay for a YouTube channel flag. So I tried this design. I tried it with this color arrangement. And I tried it with this color arrangement where I flipped the blue and the gray around. Then I also went ahead and wanted to see how it would look, from the hypothetical backside of the flag. And this is how it looked from the backside. It looks okay. It works. It could work anyway, but it would work better if the opening letter of the username was one of the letters that are symmetrical, like the letter T would work, or even a capital A would work. But the letter J doesn't have that symmetrical property, so I didn't really like it for the basis of a flag design. I could have, tried to design more around the shape, but I decided, let's try something different. I don't like the direction this is heading, trying to kind of bend one of the principles by using writing as part of the design. It'll work, it's just fine, but if I can follow all the principles, that's what I wanted to do. So, I tried to come up with something else. Now this design. Okay, so what I'd done is I'd taken a break after that last set of designs I'd shown you, and I came up with this design, and I thought this design was going to be the channel flag right here. As you can see, there's the silver smiley face in the center, and there's the blue background. I'm sure you watched the main video. A lot of the symbolism that is in play in that final flag is here also in this flag design. You have the silver, you have the face, you have the blue background. It's like preciousness in the sea of the vastness of YouTube. I really liked how this looked. So now what changed from this point forward is no longer I'm trying to find my flag design. From this point it was, I think I have my flag design. I want to see if I can improve it. Now I want to try some different things that might be a little bit more exotic than I would have tried up to this point, simply because I know I have a flag design that I can use and use confidently. So let's see if it can be improved, but if it can't, no big deal. This is what we're going with. So I tried the alternate, but I didn't like the blue smiley face on the gray background nearly as well as the gray smiley face on the blue background, which was fine. Just keep iterating and see how some of the other things I could come up with might look on the flag. Then I came up with the design idea concept of putting a box on the flag, rather than just putting a symbol on a background. What if I put a box? And the significance behind a box is that not only is it an extra layer, an extra dynamic to add to the flag design, but it's also very simple. It doesn't add a ton, and it's also a four-sided shape, which I personally thought was really cool because Ja, ich bin hier is 4 words in German. So if I could have a four-sided shape, I thought that'd be a neat touch. Here's the first attempt where I had like the silver smiley face on the blue background, so what if I made that blue background square and then put silver stripes on the sides? I didn't like this one as well as I ended up liking a different design. I tried black stripes instead of silver stripes, just seeing if that maybe that would work better. Have the auxiliary color on the sides and have the silver at the center in the midst of all that. It works, but I didn't think it was as good as it could be, and so I kept iterating. Here we have the design that ended up being the design I picked. And I thought it was really interesting how I liked the silver face on the blue background, but I liked better the blue face on the silver square on the blue background than the alternates that I could have gone with that would have kept a silver face at the center. Different people, maybe they would go in a different route than I did, but this is the route I went. I iterated, I looked at it and decided, okay, I like this, I don't like this, and so this is the one I ended up picking. However, even though I like this one better, I still wanted to iterate a few more times just to see if maybe even this could be improved upon in a way that I would find satisfactory. I tried the design with the alternate color on the sides. I didn't care for it so much. Now that I had the design I liked, I thought maybe we need to shoehorn in the auxiliary color just to see how it looks. So this design has a black outline around the silver square, and what I decided was that the extra black outline didn't add any significant information to the flag design and just kind of made it more complicated, and it didn't really need to be more complicated. So I tried it, didn't like how it looked, and decided not to keep it. So then the idea occurred to me to change the box into a diamond shape. The main issue is that with a 16:9 ratio, trying to turn a box into a diamond, you can't just rotate it like this. You actually have to shrink it, because otherwise the top and bottom get cut off. Here is how the diamond looks once I made it a little smaller, and made the smiley face a little smaller. It's okay. I thought maybe having it as a diamond instead of a square makes it seem more symbolic with the preciousness that it represents. However, I didn't really like how the shape looked with the ratios of the flag that I wanted and everything, so it was okay. This design is fine, but I didn't like it as well as the other ones I'd made, so I decided not to stick with this one. But I didn't give up on it right away. I thought maybe what I should do is try and have the diamond inside of the square. That might be a really fun thing to try. So here is one of those designs. If I had liked how this turned out, I would have worked a little bit harder to tinker with it so that the corners of the diamond would be at the top and bottom of the flag, and then the left and right corners would be at the left and right of the box. At this point, it seemed like I was starting to make the flag design a little bit too complicated, trying to fit too many pieces in to see how they'd look. And at that point, it was like, okay, let's just go with what we have, and that should be just fine. So here's another one that I tried with the diamond in the box shape. It's okay, but again, I decided on not doing this particular pattern. Okay, so this is the design I decided upon, so I started writing out the script for the main video. And when I was writing out the main script, where I used the word currently, on my first draft I had the word already. And when I wrote that in there, I thought, well, maybe I need to make the flag red for already, which was a little silly. I ended up just changing the word, and that was a better fit. But I still wanted to see, how would the flag in an alternate universe look if it were red instead of blue? And here's how it looks. So, it's okay. I'm sure there's a channel out there that would have those colors and it would work just fine, but it doesn't fit for my YouTube channel, so I decided to not keep the red. And then I decided to iterate a few more times just to be on the safe side, make sure I wasn't missing something. I'd mentioned before with the four-sided shape of a square being significant for the four words Jaichbinhier. I thought maybe I should try, instead of a square, instead of a diamond, maybe I should try a trapezoid and see how it looks. And so I tried a trapezoid a couple of different ways. Here's one way, and here's another way. It looks okay. I think it's interesting to see how it looks, but at the end of the day, I was like, you know, I like the square, I like its simplicity, I like its style, so that's what we're going with. And once again, we see the final flag design. With my final flag design, I decided to call it Smiley Preferred. Not all flags have nicknames, not all flags need nicknames, but this flag did need a nickname because I had to save the file on my computer and I didn't want to give it a boring name, so I gave it the name Smiley Preferred. It is in English instead of German, but I think the name fits really well. Not only is it the preferred flag design that has a smiley on it, but it also is a flag that reminds me that a smiley is preferred. It is best to smile when I'm doing stuff with my channel. So while not all flags need nicknames, this one gets one. Whenever I refer to this particular flag design, I can identify it by saying it's the Smiley Preferred. And that concludes the presentation. I hope you enjoyed learning about my brainstorming process and designing the flag for my YouTube channel. If there were any designs that you thought you really liked out of the ones that I declined, or maybe you thought I could have taken it a little bit different direction than I did, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. Also, if you have any flags that you've designed, whether it be for your YouTube channel or for some other entity or even a competition, feel free to share those in the comments. I'd enjoy hearing about the rationale and thought process that different people use when making flags. So if you have personal experience with some of that, feel free to share. Thank you for listening and watching this presentation. Hope you found it interesting, maybe even a little entertaining. And I'll try to put links here on the screen back to the main video if you wanted to rewatch that after hearing the rationale and the process behind making the whole flag. That'll be on screen, and I'll also try to put another link up if you're brand new to the channel and you just want to hear how the username is pronounced and how other people have tried to pronounce the username. That'll be there as well. This has been Jaichbinhier, and thank you for listening and sticking through the whole thing.